Video, I'm going to be showing you how to make your Elementor drop-down menu wrap just like this. So after 6 menu items, we're going to have it wrap. And I feel like this is a feature that Elementor should have by default, but it doesn't. And I've seen this on other websites, and I just wanted to implement it on one of my sites recently, and I thought that I would share this. And we can set it up so it only works with one menu drop-down item, and then the other menu drop down for a different item, like the bout, that can be set to default, right? And it's completely mobile optimized, and also tablet as well. So that's what we're going to be creating in this video. I hope you end up enjoying it. If you do, make sure to like it for the YouTube algorithm, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I hope you enjoy. Let's go ahead and begin here. Open up your header in your Elementor theme builder, and make sure that you have your WordPress menu added in here. I already set up my header. I'm just using a header template that I grabbed and I set up really quickly. So as you can see, it's just a regular menu here. And then make sure that you do set up your menu ahead of time as well. So I have my menu items in here just to give you an example of how everything's gonna look. And this is gonna be great for those of you that have a menu that's really long. Maybe you want to show all your products in one menu, one sub menu. That's something that you can do. So let's begin. Go ahead and click on your Elementor WordPress menu here. Click on that. Go into Advanced, and then go into Custom CSS. Okay. And then from here, we want to paste the code that I've provided in the description of this video, and I'll be going over it a bit here. So I'm going to paste it in here. There we go. And if we were to hover over this, we could see that it's working, right? Now it works great. Let me explain the code a little bit. So in this media query here, we're pretty much saying that the minimum width that we want this style to work is anything above 767 pixels. That's the minimum width that this style should work, right? And we have a selector because we only want to target this menu item. Maybe you have other menu items. Sometimes you can do that. That's why I do selector. And then we're targeting the menu dash item dash has children class, right? This is a class that Elementor uses to identify if the menu here has any sub menu items, right? Has children. And obviously it's not going to work for this one. This one's not going to have this class because this home here or even the contact won't have that class because it doesn't have any children. Now what we're saying is that on hover, whenever this is hovered, we want to target the sub menu, which is this menu here, this menu box that comes up. We want to target that specifically, and we want to set the display to grid, and we want to set it to important because we want to override the existing display style that Elementor has. And this is how we're going to get this going. Now, our selector here, the one under it, is also targeting our sub menu. So now that we have it set to grid, we can have it in a grid format. So we can do grid template rows. We can set it to repeat. We want to have 6 rows, right? And that's what we're doing here. So we're having 6 rows, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Just like how this is 6 rows, as you can see here, right? If we wanted to set this up maybe to like 4, you can see that now it's 4 rows. So it's up to you guys how you want to adjust this accordingly. Now we are going to have some issues with the responsiveness that I'm going to be going over here in a bit. But I'm going to set this to 6 for now. That's my preference here. And then my grid auto flow here, this is going to be set to column because we want this to be column. Basically, whenever we add a new item, we want it to be added as a column. So added from top to bottom, right? If this isn't set, it's going to be adding items horizontally, which is a row. We want it to be adding items vertically, right? That's what we want there. So that's why it's set to a column. And then we have a gap. So a gap in between each column. You can see that there's a little gap right here. You can kind of see it, right? So if we remove this, we won't have that gap. You can see that. But I like to have the gap, so I'm going to leave it there. And then the width. We want to go ahead and set the width to fit. The reason being, if we remove this, what you can see is you can't really see the text right now, right here, for some reason. But what you'll start to see is that it may just be cut off a little bit. So you can't see it right here. It's not doing it here, but it's very important that we set it to content fit, or fit content, or else you may have the text overflowing without the background. So it's important to have that there. Now, if you are just gonna set it up like this, and you're gonna have all your menus wrap, just like how we're doing here, then this is gonna work. We really just need to adjust it on desktop in case, because if the screen's a little bit smaller, what will happen is this box, this container here, is going to overflow and it's going to be cut off, right, with the smaller desktop screen. We don't need to worry about mobile, but on tablet, now this is an option for tablet. If I go into tablet and I click here, right, we will see that the menu will show up like this, which I don't mind seeing it like this. This is actually kind of cool. So it depends if you guys like this. If you guys do not want to have this sort of menu here on tablet, what you can do is set the minimum width to 1024, right? So now that is like the tablet, right? That's a cutoff for tablet. So now it's normal. So we don't got to worry about that. Now that is up to you guys how you want to go about doing it. So that does depend there. Now you can adjust it however you would like. On mobile, you can see here that it's totally fine. We're not going to have a problem with that. And I'll even show you it works on the live side as well. In case you're wondering, you can see that it works perfectly, right? Now you may encounter some issues if you want to go ahead and do in the menu here. If you want to add, let's say you start to do this, and maybe you even do this, or let me just bring this one over here, right? And we save it, and we refresh this. You will notice that we're gonna have this issue. Well, it's very glitchy, so it's not working properly, right? That's the only drawback to this. But what we can do to fix this, let's say this menu we want it to just stay the same, just the default menu, drop-down menu, but we want this one to be our new custom wrap menu, whatever you want to call this. Let's say we only want to target the service drop-down to be like this, and we want to leave this one alone. So what we can do here is right-click, go to inspect, and we want to just target the service drop-down. So let's click on here, and let's just make sure you highlight this, and we can see here that this menu item is called, it's menu dash item dash 26, right? 126. So that's one we want to target instead. We don't want to do this for the about. So what we can do is go in here, and then for this one, or we actually need to add it in here. We can't add it over here. I know you'd probably think, oh, maybe I have that class over there. No, you add it right here. The reason being is that the menu item has children are in the same element. They're siblings to each other. So that's why you have to add it here. So I think so I'm getting a brain fart here. Let me see. It's called menu item 126. You can see that it's also here. You see that the has children is also right here. So that's why I'm saying that they're siblings. So the menu item, we can do that 126, right? So let's go in here and type in let's type in dot menu dash item 126. Or sorry, 126. And then we're also going to add it under here. So let's grab this and then let's paste this over here. Now these are not siblings, so this is more like a parent. So let's go ahead and just add it like this. And now you can see that this is set to normal, and this right here is set to how it's supposed to be, right? Okay. So I'm glad I went through that scenario in case you just want to target one menu dropdown. Another scenario that I want to go over that you'll probably find out before I go over the responsiveness of this, because that is super important, is if we were to go ahead and go in here, because this may be set and you may be having this issue and you're probably super frustrated. You're probably having this issue. If you go to the drop down, and I'm going to go ahead and actually for right now, let me go back to my CSS, and I'm going to activate this, by the way. I'm going to activate it so I can see it. So that's something you can do if you just want to see the menu. You can add it to this one down here, paste it in here so we can see the menu. So let's go into the, you can see the drop down menu. So on the distance, if you go under style, drop down menu, distance, and we bring this down to basically where it goes, where it's under our element. You can see that it's not connected to that pink border here, right? Let's say we just have it down here, because sometimes it may be set up like that. You may actually set it up like that. So let's go back into advanced responsiveness. Let's remove this so it's not activated on desktop. On our live site, and we don't see it. Now what you'll see that this works, but whenever we try to hover over this, sometimes it may disappear. You see this? That can be an issue. Okay. What you want to do to fix that is you want to make sure, let me put this back so I can see it. You want to make sure our space between, oh sorry, not that one. Go to drop down, sorry, style, drop down, distance. I can't see it right now, so let me see what's going on. Alright, there we go. Let's go drop down here, and we want to make sure that the white there, we can kind of see that the white's right here, right? We want to make sure that the container here, our submenu container, sub drop down, is connected to the pink. You can see that it overlaps it, right? We just want to do it right there. That'll be good. Now we can remove it here. Perfect. Now we can see that this is set up perfectly and it works. We're all good. Don't worry, everything is working amazing. So we don't have to worry about this. This width for each of the column is set by the largest menu item, by the way. So the only reason we have this giant spacing here is because of this large menu item. Just so you know that. So it is I like how it's set up, so you can just add any menu and it will automatically adjust for you. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. Now the other thing, another scenario that you may see that is very important to highlight because it could happen. I'm going to grab one of these here since I'm not using this. I'm going to put this over here, right? As an example. I probably could have just switched it, honestly. So we can see that it's kind of long, right? Now, if I were to shrink my screen a little bit, I wish I could okay, there we go. Just hover over this. You can see that it's being cut off right here. I don't like that it's being cut off like that. Right? So we're gonna need to adjust it. And the way we do that is we want to just target this one. So we can see that when we get to about, we're going to have to do it a little bit manually, which is fine. When we get to about, let's see here, I don't know, 1846 or 1845, let's do. 1845. So when it's at 1845, we want to go ahead and shift it. So we're going to do another media query here. We're going to do at media. We're going to do a max with, we're saying, so basically anything under this, and it was 1845 pixels. And so anything under 1845, we want to go ahead and shift our service drop-down menu to the left. So what we can do is just go ahead and grab this right here, the main one that we're targeting, and then let's go ahead and give it some brackets to our classes here. And we know that this menu here, or this service drop-down menu, is set to absolute. So we can shift it just by doing left. And let's say, just for example, we'll do 200 pixels. We want to do a negative because we don't want it to go to the right. We want it to go to the left. So we're going to hit update. Now, let me get out of here because it's kind of hard hovering. Let me see. Let me shift this a little more. So it looks like it did not shift, which is kind of strange. So let me look into this a little bit further here. And let me see what is going on with this. Okay, so what we need to do is actually add important. So we overwrite the existing style that Elementor has. So sometimes we just need to overwrite it. So now, if we hover over it, we can see that it shifted here. We go back. Let's refresh. Let's go a little more. Oh, there we go. So it's moving there for us. You can see that. So it works perfectly, right? So the more we move it, I want to move it a little bit more. I don't know why there's this issue with that. Probably one of the elements doing that. So maybe we want to shift this a little more, or it may even be mine that's doing it. So what we want to do is maybe even shift it by the time we get to here. We want to shift it to maybe more so the center, right? So that is 1334. I've tested this with other websites and usually this doesn't happen. So this might be another element that's causing this. So don't worry about that. So let's go back into this. And what we got to do is just really copy this one. And I think it was just to double check here. I don't like the cutoff just in case it is doing it. So we're going to do 1328. So 1328. We're going to go ahead and shift it maybe 400. There we go. We can see that it's shifted. And you can adjust it however you would like. Obviously that's a little bit too much for me. But we can see that it's not that. So, and just to double check that, okay, that it's not my code that's doing that. Now if you want to just comment this out real quick. Oops. There we go. And let's hit update. So we comment that out and see if it is my code that's doing it. Okay, so we can see that it's not because there's an issue here with that. I don't know which element's doing it. I don't want to spend that much time trying to fix that bug because it's clearly doing it without the CSS that I added. So it doesn't make really much sense on that front. It's probably just an overflow issue, but if I were to go to the main site here, and we can see that it's not, we have our old menu here, and we can still see that it's doing it. So it's clearly an issue with the, maybe it could be a new update, or it could be that I'm using one of the header templates that's not set up properly. But anyway, so let's activate, if you have the code activated, we will see that now. Let me hover over this and go to the main website here. We will see that it shifted over. So, and it's still looking good. It shifts over, which is great. And then it only works. It still works on. You can see here that it works on tablet. And this is a regular menu. And then if we go into mobile, it's set to the default one. So that's pretty much it for this video. I don't want to make it too long. If you have any questions, just comment down below. But I really love this. This is really awesome. And I hope you guys liked it too, because this is a feature that Elementor should have by default, but unfortunately it doesn't, and we need to go ahead and set it up ourselves. But that's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe and like the video for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.